Day 34. Exodus 31-33. Then the Lord said to Moses, See, I have called by name Bezalel son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah. And I have filled him with the Spirit of God, with skill, ability, and knowledge in all kinds of craftsmanship, to design artistic works in gold, silver, and bronze, to cut gemstones for settings, and to carve wood, so that he may be a master of every craft. Moreover, I have selected Oholiab son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan, as his assistant. I have also given skill to all the craftsmen, that they may fashion all that I have commanded you, the tent of meeting, the ark of the testimony and the mercy seat upon it, and all the other furnishings of the tent, the table with its utensils, the pure gold lampstand with all its utensils, the altar of incense, the altar of burnt offering with all its utensils, and the basin with its stand, as well as the woven garments, both the holy garments for Aaron the priest and the garments for his sons to serve as priests. In addition to the anointing oil and fragrant incense for the holy place. They are to make them according to all that I have commanded you. And the Lord said to Moses, Tell the Israelites, Surely you must keep my Sabbaths, for this will be a sign between me and you for the generations to come, so that you may know that I am the Lord who sanctifies you. Keep the Sabbath, for it is holy to you. Anyone who profanes it must surely be put to death. Whoever does any work on that day must be cut off from among his people. For 6 days work may be done, but the seventh day is a Sabbath of complete rest, holy to the Lord. Whoever does any work on the Sabbath day must surely be put to death. The Israelites must keep the Sabbath, celebrating it as a permanent covenant for the generations to come. It is a sign between me and the Israelites forever, for in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, but on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. When the Lord had finished speaking with Moses on Mount Sinai, he gave him the 2 tablets of the testimony. Tablets of stone inscribed by the finger of God. Now when the people saw that Moses was delayed in coming down from the mountain, they gathered around Aaron and said, Come, make us gods who will go before us. As for this Moses who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has happened to him. So Aaron told them, Take off the gold earrings that are on your wives and sons and daughters, and bring them to me. Then all the people took off their gold earrings and brought them to Aaron. He took the gold from their hands, and with an engraving tool he fashioned it into a molten calf. And they said, These, O Israel, are your gods, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt. When Aaron saw this, he built an altar before the calf and proclaimed, Tomorrow shall be a feast to the Lord. So the next day they arose, offered burnt offerings, and presented peace offerings. And the people sat down to eat and drink, and got up to indulge in revelry. Then the Lord said to Moses, Go down at once, for your people, whom you brought up out of the land of Egypt, have corrupted themselves. How quickly they have turned aside from the way that I commanded them. They have made for themselves a molten calf and have bowed down to it. They have sacrificed to it and said, These, O Israel, are your gods, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt. The Lord also said to Moses, I have seen this people, and they are indeed a stiff-necked people. Now leave me alone, so that my anger may burn against them and consume them. Then I will make you into a great nation. But Moses sought the favor of the Lord his God, saying, O Lord, why does your anger burn against your people, whom you brought out of the land of Egypt with great power and a mighty hand? Why should the Egyptians declare, He brought them out with evil intent, to kill them in the mountains and wipe them from the face of the earth? Turn from your fierce anger and relent from doing harm to your people. Remember your servants Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, to whom you swore by your very self when you declared, I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky, and I will give your descendants all this land that I have promised. And it shall be their inheritance forever. So the Lord relented from the calamity he had threatened to bring on his people. Then Moses turned and went down the mountain with the 2 tablets of the testimony in his hands. They were inscribed on both sides, front and back. The tablets were the work of God, and the writing was the writing of God, engraved on the tablets. When Joshua heard the sound of the people shouting, he said to Moses, The sound of war is in the camp. But Moses replied, It is neither the cry of victory nor the cry of defeat, I hear the sound of singing. As Moses approached the camp and saw the calf and the dancing, he burned with anger and threw the tablets out of his hands, shattering them at the base of the mountain. Then he took the calf they had made, burned it in the fire, ground it to powder, and scattered the powder over the face of the water. Then he forced the Israelites to drink it. What did this people do to you? Moses asked Aaron, that you have led them into so great a sin. Do not be enraged, my lord, Aaron replied. You yourself know that the people are intent on evil. They told me, make us gods who will go before us. As for this Moses who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has happened to him. So I said to them, whoever has gold, let him take it off, and they gave it to me. And when I threw it into the fire, out came this calf. Moses saw that the people were out of control, for Aaron had let them run wild and become a laughingstock to their enemies. So Moses stood at the entrance to the camp and said, whoever is for the Lord, come to me. And all the Levites gathered around him. He told them, this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says, each of you men is to fasten his sword to his side, go back and forth through the camp from gate to gate, and slay his brother, his friend, and his neighbor. The Levites did as Moses commanded. And that day about 3,000 of the people fell dead. Afterward, Moses said, today you have been ordained for service to the Lord, since each man went against his son and his brother, so the Lord has bestowed a blessing on you this day. The next day Moses said to the people, you have committed a great sin. Now I will go up to the Lord, perhaps I can make atonement for your sin. So Moses returned to the Lord and said, oh, what a great sin these people have committed. They have made gods of gold for themselves. Yet now, if you would only forgive their sin. But if not, please blot me out of the book that you have written. The Lord replied to Moses, whoever has sinned against me, I will blot out of my book. Now go, lead the people to the place I described. Behold, my angel shall go before you. But on the day I settle accounts, I will punish them for their sin. And the Lord sent a plague on the people because of what they had done with the calf that Aaron had made. Then the Lord said to Moses, leave this place, you and the people you brought up out of the land of Egypt, and go to the land that I promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob when I said, I will give it to your descendants. And I will send an angel before you, and I will drive out the Canaanites, Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. Go up to a land flowing with milk and honey. But I will not go with you, because you are a stiff-necked people, otherwise, I might destroy you on the way. When the people heard these bad tidings, they went into mourning, and no one put on any of his jewelry. For the Lord had said to Moses, tell the Israelites, you are a stiff-necked people. If I should go with you for a single moment, I would destroy you. Now take off your jewelry, and I will decide what to do with you. So the Israelites stripped themselves of their jewelry from Mount Horeb onward. Now Moses used to take the tent and pitch it at a distance outside the camp. He called it the tent of meeting, and anyone inquiring of the Lord would go to the tent of meeting outside the camp. Then, whenever Moses went out to the tent, all the people would stand at the entrances to their own tents and watch Moses until he entered the tent. As Moses entered the tent, the pillar of cloud would come down and remain at the entrance, and the Lord would speak with Moses. When all the people saw the pillar of cloud standing at the entrance to the tent, they would stand up and worship, each one at the entrance to his own tent. Thus the Lord would speak to Moses face to face, as a man speaks to his friend. Then Moses would return to the camp, but his young assistant Joshua son of Nun would not leave the tent. Then Moses said to the Lord, look, you have been telling me, lead this people up, but you have not let me know whom you will send with me. Yet you have said, I know you by name, and you have found favor in my sight. Now if indeed I have found favor in your sight, please let me know your ways, that I may know you and find favor in your sight. Remember that this nation is your people. And the Lord answered, my presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. If your presence does not go with us, Moses replied, do not lead us up from here. For how then can it be known that your people and I have found favor in your sight, unless you go with us? How else will we be distinguished from all the other people on the face of the earth? So the Lord said to Moses, I will do this very thing you have asked, for you have found favor in my sight, and I know you by name. Then Moses said, please show me your glory. I will cause all my goodness to pass before you, the Lord replied. And I will proclaim my name, the Lord, in your presence. I will have mercy on whom I have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I have compassion. But he added, you cannot see my face, for no one can see me and live. The Lord continued, there is a place near me where you are to stand upon a rock, and when my glory passes by, I will put you in a cleft of the rock and cover you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will take my hand away, and you will see my back, but my face must not be seen. Matthew 22 verses 1 to 22. Once again, Jesus spoke to them in parables. The kingdom of heaven is like a king who prepared a wedding banquet for his son. He sent his servants to call those he had invited to the banquet, but they refused to come. Again, he sent other servants and said, "Tell those who have been invited that I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and fattened cattle have been killed, and everything is ready. Come to the wedding banquet." But they paid no attention and went away, one to his field, another to his business. The rest seized his servants, mistreated them, and killed them. The king was enraged, and he sent his troops to destroy those murderers and burn their city. Then he said to his servants, "The wedding banquet is ready, but those I invited were not worthy. Go therefore to the crossroads and invite to the banquet as many as you can find." So the servants went out into the streets and gathered everyone they could find, both evil and good, and the wedding hall was filled with guests. But when the king came in to see the guests, he spotted a man who was not dressed in wedding clothes. "Friend," he asked, "how did you get in here without wedding clothes?" But the man was speechless. Then the king told the servants, "Tie him hand and foot, and throw him into the outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are called, but few are chosen." Then the Pharisees went out and conspired to trap Jesus in his words. They sent their disciples to him along with the Herodians. "Teacher," they said, "we know that you are honest and that you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. You seek favor from no one, because you pay no attention to external appearance. So tell us what you think, is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar or not?" But Jesus knew their evil intent and said, "You hypocrites, why are you testing me? Show me the coin used for the tax." And they brought him a denarius. "Whose image is this?" he asked, "and whose inscription?" "Caesar's," they answered. So Jesus told them, "Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's." And when they heard this, they were amazed. So they left him and went away.